I'm Quinn, and I'd like to share the story of my life, how it began so wonderfully and then shifted in ways I never saw coming. I was married to Kevin, a relaxed man who inherited a quaint Italian restaurant from his father. We settled into a cozy house left to me by my grandmother. It was here that we began our family, welcoming our son, Frank. In the early years, Kevin and I would spend evenings on our back porch after Frank was asleep. We'd dream together about our future, saving up for a bigger house, perhaps having another child. Kevin always envisioned it with a beer in his hand, while I thought about giving Frank the best possible education, hoping he could attend college without the burden of student loans like I had. Life was simple and joyful, but over time, as I advanced in my career, Kevin seemed satisfied with just maintaining the status quo at the restaurant. It remained cozy but struggled to bring in enough revenue. One evening, while cleaning up after dinner, I broached the subject of enhancing the restaurant. "Kevin, have you considered adding new items to the menu or maybe some updates to bring in more customers?" I asked. Kevin, scrubbing a plate a bit too vigorously, replied indifferently, "Why fix what isn't broken? We're doing fine." "But we could be doing so much better," I countered, drying my hands on a towel. Kevin slammed the plate down, frustration evident. "Why are you always pushing? Can't you just be happy with what we have?" "I'm tired of you always wanting more," he exclaimed. I dropped the conversation, but it wasn't just the restaurant that was an issue. As I became the orthodontist, tensions rose. Kevin spent more days at the restaurant, not really working, just avoiding home, and often he would end up at his mother Anna's house. One day, after he spent another evening at his mother's, I confronted him. "You ran off to your mom's again last night, Kevin. When you're there, who do you think manages everything here?" I asked. He rolled his eyes and tossed his keys on the table. "Oh, come off it, Mom understands me, and she doesn't nag me about money or working more," he retorted. That hurt, especially since I had been covering his shortfalls, even sending $900 monthly to Anna to help her out. It was becoming increasingly difficult to manage all our bills and expenses. Later that week, I called Anna to explain our financial strain and the need for Kevin to contribute more. "Anna, I'm doing what I can, but Kevin needs to step up. We're struggling," I explained. Rather than showing understanding, Anna became defensive. "Quinn, you're his wife. It's your job to support him, not push him around. You're always after my boy to change. Can't you see you're the problem?" she accused. Anger welled up inside me. "I am supporting him, Anna, more than you know. I even send you money every month. How can you call me the problem? You're calling me a gold digger?" "I'm the one counting every penny to keep us afloat," I replied, her words stinging before she abruptly hung up. As night fell, I pondered over our conversation, feeling both frustrated and saddened by the turn our lives had taken. I watched Kevin slump onto the sofa, a beer in his grasp, absorbed in his phone. Meanwhile, I tucked Frank into bed, the day's conversation with his mother weighing heavily on my shoulders. Life at home had become increasingly challenging since Kevin's restaurant fell on hard times. He had been forced to let his staff go one by one until it was just him, alone, making pizzas in a quiet part of town. Even then, the business dwindled to the point where it couldn't keep the lights on. The day he closed the restaurant for good, he returned home looking utterly defeated, yet there was a defiant glint in his eyes. This isn't the end. It's merely a setback," he said, trying to maintain composure as he hung up his apron for the last time. I sat at the kitchen table, bills scattered around like a spread of ominous cards. "A setback, Kevin? The restaurant is closed. We need a new income source, and we need it now," I replied. His pride took a hit, and he bristled. "I'll find something, but I won't just take any job. I have my standards. I was a business owner, and what does that mean now, Kevin? We need actual money, not standards," I countered, my frustration boiling over. He just shook his head, muttering about not becoming a desk jockey. "I have a degree, Quinn. I'm aiming for a managerial position, nothing less." I was stunned by his audacity. "Your business just tanked, and you think you can land a top job just like that?" I snapped, unable to mask the irritation in my voice. He didn't respond, just stormed out, likely heading to his mother's place. That's how things went now. Whenever it got tough, Kevin disappeared. The weekend brought no relief, only his mother Anna crashing in with her demands. She arrived just as I was preparing lunch, her timing as flawless as her audacity. "Quinn, you need to talk to your bosses. Get Kevin a good position at your company." "He deserves it," she insisted, as if it were the simplest solution. I let out a harsh, short laugh. "Anna, that's not how it works. I started at the bottom and worked my way up. They don't just hand out top jobs because I asked." She narrowed her eyes, her lips thinning. "You just don't want him to succeed, afraid he might overshadow you, huh?" I explained calmly, despite the rising tension. "Seriously, Anna, Kevin walking into a senior role with no experience isn't going to happen. It's not about fear. It's about reality." Lunch continued under a cloud of chilliness, Kevin silent, likely ruminating over his bruised ego and his mother's words. Kevin's days turned into a blur of inertia, lounging with his beer and phone while I managed work, house chores, and caring for our son Frank. Each evening, I returned home to a chaotic house and no dinner in sight. "Kevin, could you at least start dinner?" "I'm running on fumes here," I would say, dropping my bags and kicking off my shoes. He'd grunt, eyes glued to his phone. "You do it better. I'm tired too, you know." It infuriated me to see him so idle, especially when Frank, hungry and expectant, would tug at my sleeve. "And Kevin, did you pick him up from school today?" One evening, already aware of the answer, I asked Kevin if he had forgotten to tell me something. His reply was a low mumble, barely audible over the television. Thankfully, my mother, who lived close by, had stepped in as a reliable backup since Kevin had begun neglecting even his most basic duties. "Kevin, he's your son too. He needs you," I stated, striving to keep my voice calm, though it was challenging. Typically, this would be the moment he'd leave, the door slamming as he went, marking another routine day. True to form, he vanished, leaving me to manage everything alone. The pattern escalated when I noticed money missing from my wallet. Initially, it was just a few dollars, but soon entire bills were gone. One night, after confirming the missing money, I confronted him. "Kevin, have you been taking money from my purse?" His eyes darted away before meeting mine again. "Needed some cash for beer," he admitted. "Beer? You're taking cash like a thief now," I exclaimed. "How dare you call me a thief?" "I'm your husband," he retorted, his voice rising. Before we could argue further, Anna burst in. It seemed she had overheard us, her expression stormy. "Quinn, all you care about is money. Can't you see the man is struggling? You should be supporting him, not accusing him. Support him by letting him steal from me? What about Frank? What about our bills?" I responded, my voice growing louder as the stress from the past months reached a boiling point. Kevin collapsed back on the couch, tuning out as Anna and I argued over him, his eyes fixed on a distant point. The argument ended in a heavy silence, with Anna storming out and Kevin remaining silent and inactive. When Frank fell ill as the summer ended, his fever spiking one night, no soothing or cool cloths seemed to help. Sitting beside his bed, thermometer in hand, I felt my heart sink with each beep confirming the fever wasn't breaking. Kevin, as usual, was no help, engrossed in his phone on the couch. "Kevin, can you check if we have any more fever reducer?" I asked, trying to stay composed. He grunted and slowly got up, but I knew it would be quicker to do it myself. Frank was softly whimpering, clutching my hand, each moment precious. After a quick kiss on his forehead, I rushed to the kitchen myself. The next morning, the doctor stressed the need for medication and tests. "Better to be safe," he advised, noting down his recommendations. Tests meant more expenses, far beyond what was left after the bills and Kevin's unchecked spending. Heart pounding, I transferred the last of our savings for Frank's treatment, including the $900 usually reserved for Anna. It was the only way. No sooner had I made the decision, Anna stormed in, furious. "Quinn, where's my money?" "It's the first of the month," she demanded. I was repacking Frank's small backpack, ready for another doctor's visit. "Anna," I began, bracing myself for another confrontation. I had to allocate the funds for Frank. He's gravely ill and needs them for his medical examinations and treatments. Anna's gaze hardened, her lips pressing into a thin line of disapproval. Do you really expect me to believe you don't have other money? That was my money, Quinn. I need it, she declared. I took a step back, raising my hands defensively as my maternal instinct surged. Frank is my priority. He's just a child, he's unwell, and he needs his mother to look after him. I won't apologize for putting him first. Well, I should have guessed you'd do something like this, holding money back for me for that boy. Anna spat the words with venom, as if they were a poison that pained her. That boy, Anna? That's your grandson. How can you be so heartless? I shot back, my patience wearing thin. I don't need a lecture from you, Quinn. Just make sure you pay me by tomorrow, or you'll regret it, she hissed, anger twisting her features. Her threat lingered ominously in the air, but the sight of Frank, weak and delicate in the next room, fortified my resolve. Leave my house now, Anna. I won't tolerate threats under my own roof. Not today, not ever. Anna seemed poised to argue further, but the firm resolve in my gaze silenced her. She stormed out, slamming the door, leaving a heavy silence in her wake. Kevin left quietly after her. I went back to Frank, my hands trembling as I gently stroked his hair. He looked up at me with trusting, pain-filled eyes. It's okay, baby. Mommy's here, I whispered, kissing his forehead, my resolve hardening. The days became a blur of hospital visits and sleepless nights. Kevin's absence was a quiet relief, no more arguments or scornful glances. But after a week of strained calm, I sensed something was wrong one Monday afternoon. Checking my bank app, my heart sank as I saw large withdrawals had nearly drained our savings. Panic clenched my chest as I scrolled through the transaction history, each withdrawal a betrayal. Calling Kevin was futile. He hadn't answered in days. Resolutely, I blocked the card to halt his theft. Amidst the turmoil, I realized the depth of Kevin's selfishness. A week after he disappeared, Kevin returned, not alone but with Anna at his side. They found me amidst a chaos of Frank's toys and medical bills scattered on the living room floor. Quinn, we have news, Kevin declared, a strange smirk on his face. I won the lottery, $27 million. And no, you won't see a cent of it. I'm filing for divorce. The room seemed to spin. What about Frank? I managed to utter. Anna's laugh was chilling. Oh, Quinn. Always the martyr. You've underestimated my son for too long. Now he's wealthy, and you're nothing. He'll find someone better, someone younger. Kevin nodded, picking up a duffel bag by the door. Yeah, I'm moving out to live with Mom. You'll manage on your own, won't you? Anna was exceptionally skilled at manipulation, wrapping her arm around Kevin and leading him to the exit. Let's leave the gold digger to wallow in her chaos. We have far better places to be, she suggested smugly as the door slammed shut behind them. The reality of the moment struck me hard. Betrayal, abandonment, theft. Kevin had deserted me, leaving behind only heartache and immense challenges. Yet, as the initial shock began to subside, a fiery determination started to grow within me. They thought they could destroy me, render me broken and penniless. I was resolved not to let that happen. With a steady voice, I called my lawyer. Kevin used our shared funds to purchase that lottery ticket. I want to contest the winnings, I declared. My lawyer, though cautious, was supportive. It's going to be a tough battle, Quinn, but we'll put our all into this, he assured me. Hanging up the phone, I felt the weight of the upcoming struggle settle on my shoulders. Yet, there was a newfound strength in me, tempered by this betrayal. For myself, for our son Frank, I was ready to fight, not just for survival this time, but for justice. As the court hearing neared, my lawyer, Mr. Adam, and I were engulfed in a whirlwind of preparation. We meticulously compiled every shred of evidence, bank statements, financial records, anything that demonstrated how I had financially supported our home while Kevin contributed nothing. Quinn, it's a solid case. The fact that he used your bank card to buy the lottery ticket is our strongest point, Mr. Adam reassured me as we sat amid stacks of paperwork in his office. With the court date looming, tension simmered just beneath the surface of my everyday routine. Then, just 4 days before the hearing, Kevin and Anna made an unexpected appearance. I was in the kitchen, Frank playing at my feet, when I heard the car door slam. They burst through the front door, their faces red with fury. "You're really going through with this? Suing your own husband?" Kevin bellowed, his voice echoing through the small room. Anna quickly joined in, her tone sharp and spiteful. "Greedy. That's what you are, trying to claim what isn't yours." I stood firm, feeling Frank press against my leg for comfort. "It's not just Kevin's money. He bought the ticket with our joint funds that I provided because he wasn't contributing," I countered calmly, the anger from their accusations fueling my resolve. Kevin's face contorted with disdain. "It's not about control, Kevin. It's about fairness. You left, remember? You and your mother mocked me, said I'd be left with nothing." Their shouts could have escalated further, but I was determined not to let that happen in front of Frank. "You need to leave now." "We'll settle this in court," I said firmly. Their departure was loud and chaotic, but once they were gone, the house felt somehow clearer, purer. I hugged Frank close, whispering reassurances that everything would be all right. In the courtroom, the atmosphere was tense. Kevin sat across from us, his lawyer whispering in his ear, while Anna glared at me with hostility. When Mr. Adam presented the bank statements and financial records, the evidence was undeniable. Each time Kevin's attorney stumbled over a question, I felt the wave of triumph. The judge paid close attention, his gaze fixed on Kevin as evidence of Kevin's financial reliance on me unfolded. Key to the case was the lottery ticket bought with money from our joint account, making it a marital asset, as Mr. Adam persuasively argued. Kevin raised his voice in the hushed courtroom. "I was the one who bought the ticket. It was my decision, my luck." But the judge quickly retorted, "Not your money, Mr. Thompson, and unfortunately for you, luck does not supersede the law." After prolonged deliberations, the judge handed down his decision. It was clear from the presented evidence that Mr. Thompson was financially dependent on Mrs. Thompson during the purchase of the ticket, thereby deeming the ticket a marital asset. The judgment awarded 4/4 of the lottery winnings to Mrs. Thompson and 1/4 to Mr. Thompson. Both Kevin and Anna were visibly shocked, their faces a canvas of disbelief. Months later, after the dust settled and the divorce was finalized, I began to embrace a brighter future shaped by the court's decision. Aware of the tales of lottery winners who squandered their fortunes, I reached out to Ethan, an old college friend who had found success in finance, for guidance. Over coffee, we discussed strategic investments in technology and renewable energy, as well as setting aside funds for my son Frank's education. Ethan's advice proved invaluable. Meanwhile, Kevin and Anna's approach to their share of the winnings became town gossip. Kevin flaunted a new sports car, while Anna indulged in lavish jewelry and attire, reveling in her newfound lifestyle. One afternoon, while picking up Frank from school, a friend eagerly relayed the latest about Kevin's extravagant purchases and Anna's luxurious living. I merely smiled and shifted my focus back to Frank and our future. At home, I meticulously planned our finances with Ethan's assistance. Each investment decision reinforced a pathway toward stability and security, ensuring Frank would have every possible advantage. One evening, Frank's curiosity about college mirrored my aspirations for him, his eyes alight with dreams and potential. As our lives settled into a comforting routine, with Frank flourishing in school and our investments thriving, the past seemed firmly behind us. Yet, life has a way of revisiting us, as I soon learned through an unsettling update from a close friend. During a relaxed coffee meetup, I chatted with Quinn about some startling news. Kevin had fallen on hard times. He'd lost his car, his money, and was caught up in gambling debts so deep that they even injured his neck. Over my coffee, I concealed my shock. "Really? That's unfortunate," I commented. And then there was Anna. She had started to sell her jewelry, desperate as both she and Kevin faced their darkest days after years of flaunting their wealth. Quinn, shaking her head in disbelief, recounted these developments. Before long, Kevin appeared at my doorstep, a mere shadow of the man he once was. His luxurious attire was gone, replaced by faded jeans and a worn jacket. His eyes, which once sparkled with pride, now reflected desperation. "Quinn, can we talk?" His voice was hoarse, as if he had rehearsed his plea countless times. I hesitated but stepped aside, allowing him into the house. Frank was out with friends, so we had the house to ourselves. I wasn't eager for a lengthy visit, though. As he entered, Kevin took a lingering look around the living room. "I've lost everything, Quinn. The money, the car. I've got nothing left. And I miss my family. I miss you," he confessed. Raising an eyebrow, I replied skeptically, "You miss the money. That's what you miss." "No, it's more than that. I've been reflecting a lot lately. I was hoping, maybe, we could start anew." His eyes pleaded for a second chance, but all I could recall were the years of deceit and neglect. I scoffed, more in disbelief than humor. "Start over? After everything you've put us through? You leave, accuse me of being materialistic, squander your wealth, and now you want to return as if nothing happened?" He avoided my gaze, his discomfort evident. "I know I've made grave mistakes, Quinn. I truly realize that now, and I'm ready to change," he insisted. "Kevin, you left when you thought you were better off without us. That revealed your true character. Now, you're just regretful because you're penniless and alone," I said, my voice resolute. Deflated, he absorbed the weight of my words. "So, there's no chance for us?" he asked softly. "Kevin, I forgave you long ago, for my own peace, not so you could waltz back into our lives when you hit rock bottom. Frank and I are thriving, and I intend to keep it that way," I affirmed. With a heavy heart, he left, shoulders slumped. Watching him walk away, I felt a chapter in my life close definitively. Later, as I picked up Frank, his laughter filled the car, affirming the true richness in our lives. No lottery win could ever match the genuine, invaluable love and joy we shared. Our path hadn't been smooth, but it was uniquely ours, brimming with irreplaceable, authentic affection.